Uh, the truth is that, people used to joke years and years ago about those who argued that the earth was flat. And for a long period of time, people argued that the earth was flat, even when the evidence of astronomers and others and explorers evidenced that it was, in fact, quite the opposite. And so we have, in effect, with respect to climate change in America today, what is fundamentally a flat earth caucus. A bunch of people, some of them in the United States Congress itself, who still argue against all the science, all the evidence. They argue that somehow we don't know enough about climate change, or they argue that the evidence isn't sufficient, or they argue that it just is a hoax. I mean, we have members of the United States Senate who argue that it is a hoax. But that's all they do. They make the argument that it's a hoax, but they don't present and can't present any real evidence, hard, scientific, peer-reviewed evidence to the effect that it is, in fact, a hoax. And the result of this is that over the last year and a half, 2 years, we've had this concerted assault on reason and assault on science. And this isn't the first time in the history of humankind we've been through these things. I mean, Galileo was put on trial for his findings. And as we all know, there have been countless periods of times. I mean, that's why we went through an age of enlightenment, an age of reason, as people challenged these old precepts that weren't based on fact, but just sort of raw belief and or political interest in some cases, or religious interest in some cases. In the end, I believe that the time frame by which we have to do this is going to dictate that you still have to look to this market mechanism of pricing carbon. I don't know anybody serious who's looked at this over a long period of time who doesn't somehow feel, if they accept the science, I mean, there's still some folks out there arguing flat earth, policy, but that's always been true all through history. Right now, we have to figure out, I think, as you said, the most effective way. His two main rationales, weapons of mass destruction and the Al-Qaeda September 11th connection, have both been proved false by the president's own weapons inspectors and by the 9/11 Commission. And just last week, Secretary of State Powell acknowledged those facts. Only Vice President Cheney still insists that the earth is flat. The earth is flat.